Hello, bass family, and welcome to Everything Bass. You know, part of kind of this series or the season I'm in with the videos, I've been responding to questions I've had regarding being trapped within the one octave scale pattern or one octave arpeggio pattern. And, you know, I think every player goes through this as they learn a scale. Like today, we're going to be talking about a full position blues scale. But let's say you learn it first in this one octave pattern. If you're unfamiliar with the blues scale, you can actually search my channel, and I did a whole video on what makes up the blues scale, what are the intervals, but we're just going to quickly kind of talk about what happens when we hit this octave. Now, you ultimately want to freely play from the lowest note on your bass to the highest note on your bass. You know, to have the capability that if you hear like, oh, I want to go up higher, that with confidence you'll know how to do that. But the step from one octave to the entire width and breadth of your instrument, it can be intimidating. So I did a video on how to just add the 9 as the first step outside the one octave box, but I want to follow that up with, let's take a common scale, the blues scale, used so much in music today, and let's see on a 4-string bass, the full position of it. So starting with like the A on the 5th fret of the E string, if we play up the blues scale, you know, root, minor third, perfect fourth, sharp 4, diminished 5th, whatever you want to call it, 5, perfect 5, minor 7, octave. Now, we just played the octave, but we can keep going. Now, after the root, we played a minor third. So from this octave, we can play a minor third. Then we play the perfect 4th, the sharp 4, the diminished 5th, and we can even slide up 1 fret and get the perfect 5th again. So now, when the root's on the E string, this is what the pattern looks like. So, and don't feel like you always have to slide up to the octave of the 5th there, the E, because sometimes turning around on the flat 5 can sound cool. See, I just turned around instead of going all the way. Just an option, but you have this where if you're having to keep your eye on the chart, you're watching the conductor, you're watching the band leader, you're interacting with the audience, and you don't want to have to keep looking down to make sure your shifts are correct, you have all these notes available. Now, what happens when the root's on the A string? Well, it's actually quite easy. So let's deal with D here, D blues. We play the same blues scale. Now, if we want to go lower, we can play the minor 7, but instead of sliding down to the C here, we put the C here on the E string, and we can go to the perfect 5th, because we have the root. The perfect 5th is always, it's good to memorize that when you have a root, the perfect 5th is always the same fret, but 1 string lower in pitch. So now we have this pattern, and I'm going to go beyond the root to underneath, and that's really cool for like. I did a flat 9 there just for giggles. So you understand, that's one of the simplest ways to kind of take another step beyond the octave with confidence and understanding. Now, I should say that the ultimate goal is not to use patterns at all, is to actually know the notes. And if you go, oh my gosh, all 12 keys, all the scales that you've taught, like I've taught 10 scales so far on my channel, and all 12 keys, you're saying I have to memorize. No, don't be overwhelmed. It actually happens kind of organically as you get better in playing and you find yourself playing in some common keys and there's some common scales you're drawn to playing. You're just going to actually memorize them naturally. You can force the issue, which is kind of what you have to do when you're going through like a music institute. You have to actually kind of, with some intent, sit down and learn the notes. But for now, don't be intimidated by that. Let's just take a pattern and learn how to transpose it. Now, I showed you when the root's on the E string that this is your full position. Now, we can make it a G instead of an A minor pentatonic, or a minor blues. See how the pattern stays the same? That's what's gorgeous about our bass. It makes it very easy to learn one pattern and move it to all the different keys. F. Now I know I went by pretty quickly, so let me just pause for a second, run those two patterns again, and if you want, go to my Patreon page, which the link is in the description, and once you become a $8 a month monthly subscriber, you have access to all of my post videos, and I'll have neck diagrams with these patterns put out on them. But let me go through it real slowly. Again, A blues and D blues, full position, 4-string bass. So, starting with the A on the A blues. Now a little pinky slide back down. I'm going to give you the notes. I'm actually going to say the notes instead of the intervals. So we got A, C, D, E flat, E, G, A, C, D, E flat, up to E. Now, let's say we're on the D blues. Now, you might be wondering why I always start this pattern on the D, the root on the A string, play it up, and then come down and go beyond and then come back. I'm training my ear where the tonic is. If I was to start here, same notes, but sometimes your ear can get confused because we have a psychological propensity to think the first note we play is the tonic. So when you're, and ultimately, it's okay to not start on the root. We're going to talk about that in future videos. But I think for sake of just getting your ear trained and being consistent, it's great to start with the root, you know, D, F, A, B flat, B, C, D, and then come down and go C, A. How I did it again. I put a hybrid in there. So, so do you understand? A very simple process. Now, you don't need to wait for my videos to do this with all the scales you know. Just what the term full position means is that you can play it within a 4 or 5 fret range. Because like if you're doing Dorian, you're going to have that shift and things. Or like with this scale going up and getting that one note, that's one note outside of the 4 fret pattern. But that's called full position. Now, if you have 5, 6, 7-string basses, yeah, it takes a little more work, but you start with maybe just adding the notes from one extra string beyond the octave. And then when you get that memorized, add the next note. If you get a little lost, take the time, actually write out what the note names are, and then find those on the strings in, in your positions. So I hope this helps and gives you confidence to maybe break out of that 1 octave box and play these more interesting tones and have more phrasing capabilities, play longer descending or ascending riffs. There's a lot of reasons why getting outside that 1 octave box is just more fun, and it makes the bass a lot more fun. All right, everyone, I really appreciate it. If you would, please like, share, subscribe, do all those things that you've done so well. We're well over 1,000 subscribers right now, so thank you, thank you, thank you. That means so much to me. And I love the comments. I wish there were more comments, just because, especially in the weirdness of the world as it is now, sometimes just being able to talk with other bass players via the comment section is really cool. So feel free, drop suggestions in the comment of this very video about what you'd like to see other videos. Is there a scale you want me to cover full positions? Do you have a 5-string that you'd like me to work through full positions if you're having a hard time? I mean, never hesitate to ask. I love the suggestions. They've created videos like this. All right, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, and I'll see you at a future video.